Hollow Knight, one of the best indie games there is. From its beautiful areas to its awesome characters. Oh, hi, Coral. Even the intense boss fights that made me contemplate throwing my $300 console out the window. But the most interesting thing about this game is the complex story. Sorry, did I say complex story? I meant to say simple story. Okay, you can put the pitchforks and torches and nails away. I swear, it's not as complex as you think. So grab some popcorn and get your angry comments ready, because in this video we're talking about the story of Hollow Knight. Let's start at the beginning, as most good stories do. At the start, in the depths of a world, is a darkness known as the Void. Bugs hailed this darkness, but then there was a light, the Radiance, and so Bugs left the darkness and started hailing this god of light. They built shrines, gave gifts to this god. This is when a man with a vision came into play, the Pale King. This king created the Kingdom of Hollow Mist, united it. He built stag stations and trams to make it easier to traverse Hollow Mist, and within no time it became a bustling kingdom, with adventurers and bugs alike coming from lands far away. Because of all this, the Radiance's followers left them and went to the Pale King. The Radiance did not take kindly to this though, and so began the infection. To overtake the Pale King's kingdom, she invaded the dreams of the citizens, promising a power if they joined, but this was not true. After accepting the offer, they would lose their brains and become mindless, violent husks, a shell of their former self. This infection spread throughout the kingdom, and news got to the Pale King. He needs to seal this infection, so he creates many offspring in an attempt to create the perfect vessel. It took many attempts, but at last, the perfect vessel is born. This vessel is nurtured by the Pale King, raised to contain the infection, and at last a plan is created. They will seal the infection in the perfect vessel, and this vessel will be put in the Temple of the Black Egg. A seal will be put into this temple. The seal needs to be enforced by 3 selected dreamers. These dreamers will be put in an eternal sleep, and so the Pale King seals the perfect vessel, and the dreamers go into their rest. It doesn't work. Hallownest doesn't go back to the way it was, and why? Because the perfect vessel wasn't perfect. While being nurtured by the Pale King, this vessel developed a connection to him, and he was no longer empty. Hollow, if you will, and therefore he had thoughts for the Radiance to invade. The plan failed, and so Hallownest crumbled. The stag stations were shut down as well as the trams, and all the areas were closed off, no longer letting adventurers pass freely through the kingdom anymore. The Radiance won. Years later, one of the king's discarded offspring gets a vision. They see that the seal is failing, and so they travel to Hallownest to finally put a stop to the Radiance. Okay, so this is where we are when the game starts. So you should know everything that happens next, since the rest of the story is just the game, but I'll go through the important moments. Before we start though, I need to explain something. Remember this, please. It makes the story way less confusing. This is the knight. This is the Hollow Knight. Got it? Okay, let's go. The knight starts his journey in Dirtmouth, meeting with the townspeople, and he opens up the stag station. Later in the story, you will meet with Hornet, the daughter of one of the dreamers, but also the knight's stepsister. The Pale King is the father of both. Later, the knight unlocks the dream mill. This is how he can wake up the dreamers and break the seal. So he does that. He breaks all the dreamers out of their sleep, and this starts the beginning of the end. This is the final battle. The knight against one of his siblings. The pure vessel? No. The Hollow Knight. Okay. There are multiple endings, and I'd love to mark this video down for watch minutes, but the truth is, all of the endings could be its own video. But I don't want to make you all wait for part 2, so compromise. I'll speedrun the endings. If you guys want an in-depth video for the ending, comment down below and like. So, here we go. Ending 1. The Hollow Knight. The knight takes down the Hollow Knight and becomes the next vessel, since the knight has no emotion and no thought the Radiance is sealed. Ending 2. Sealed siblings. On the verge of beating the Hollow Knight, Hornet comes to help and holds the Hollow Knight back. The knight defeats him, but in the process Hornet is knocked out. The Hollow Knight is sealed, but Hornet's still knocked out in the temple, so she becomes a dreamer. Side note, don't know if any of you guys care, but this is my favorite ending. Ending 3. Dream No More. While Hornet holds back the Hollow Knight, the Knight hits it with the Dream Nail, going into its mind. In the mind, it fights and defeats the Radiants once and for all. In the process, though, the Knight dies, Hornet seeing their cracked mask on the floor. The Radiance is gone, once and for all. Ending 4, Embrace the Void. The same thing happens as Ending 3, but when fighting the Radiance, the Knight breaks out of their shell and becomes the Void, destroying the Radiance in Godhome. We also see the Knight, or what's left, kill Godseeker. The Void consumes him, he dies. Something is different, though. We cut back to the Temple of the Black Egg, where we see Hornet ready herself to fight the Pure Vessel. Ending 5, The Delicate Flower. Exact same thing as Ending 4, but because of the Delicate Flower, Godseeker doesn't become consumed by the Void. Okay, at last, we're done, and that's it. That is the story of Hollow Knight. See, I told you it wasn't that complicated. A story of light, darkness, and a mushroom man. Wait, what?